In this video, we shall learn about the immune thrombocytopenia guidelines given by the American Society of Hematology in the year 2019 and that pertaining to the kids. So we know that ITP had been completely redefined in the year 2011. ITP, which was earlier known as immune thrombocytopenic purpura, was renamed as immune thrombocytopenia in the year 2011. The other definitions are: the newly diagnosed ITP is any newly diagnosed ITP of a duration less than 3 months diagnosed for the first time. Duration 3 to 12 months is persistent ITP. Duration more than 12 months is now known as chronic ITP. Earlier it was 6 months only. And remission is defined as a platelet count more than 1 lakh per cubic millimeter at 12 months of treatment. So we see that newly diagnosed, persistent and chronic ITP have been defined on the basis of duration, while remission takes into account the platelet count. Corticosteroid-dependent ITP is referred to as an ongoing need for continuous prednisolone more than 5 mg per day or corticosteroid equivalent or frequent courses of corticosteroids to maintain a platelet count more than 30,000 per cubic millimeter and or to avoid bleeding. Early response is platelet count more than 30,000 per liter and at least doubling the baseline at 1 week. Initial response is platelet count more than 30,000 per cubic millimeter and doubling at 1 month. And durable response is platelet count more than 30,000 with a doubling of the baseline count at 6 months also. So we see that these are therapeutic categories, and the therapeutic categories take into account a platelet count of 30,000 per cubic millimeter, while remission requires the platelet count to be more than 1 lakh per cubic millimeter. Also, early, initial and durable response have been defined on the basis of duration. So as far as the diagnosis and management of newly diagnosed ITP, that is any ITP diagnosed for the first time and lasting for less than 3 months, the 2019 guidelines mention that in any newly diagnosed ITP with a platelet count less than or more than 20,000 per cubic millimeter, that is any platelet count, with no or mild bleeding only. Mild bleeding is skin manifestations, that is petechiae purpura only. In that case, management should be favored on an OPD basis, except for the patients with uncertainty about the diagnosis, those with social concerns, those who live far from the hospital, and those for whom follow-up cannot be guaranteed. And in these patients, one must prefer observation rather than giving corticosteroids or IVIG or anti-D immunoglobulin. This is only for patients newly diagnosed and having minor skin manifestations only. But for those with newly diagnosed ITP with non-life-threatening mucosal bleed and or diminished health-related quality of life, you should favor steroid courses of 7 days or even shorter, and the suggested steroid is prednisolone 2 to 4 mg per kg per day, maximum 120 mg or any other equivalent, and corticosteroid should be preferred to anti-D immunoglobulin or IVIG. Now, as regards management of children with ITP who do not have response to first line of treatment, therapies should be preferred, and the order of preference should be thrombopoietin receptor agonists, that is L-Thrombopag, should be preferred to rituximab, which is anti-CD20 antibody, which should be preferred to splenectomy. The recommendations from 2011 ASH guidelines that have not been touched upon in 2019 and hence they are likely to be continued the same are as follows. As far as the diagnosis is concerned, now the 2019 guidelines say that the bone marrow examination is not at all necessary in children and adolescents who have typical features of ITP, who fail IVIG therapy, and in similar patients prior to the initiation of treatment with corticosteroids or before splenectomy. And testing for ANA antibodies is also not required in these children with suspected ITP. And if children are not responders to the first line of therapy, then a routine testing for H. pylori is also not required in them. As far as the MMR associated ITP is concerned, children should receive the first dose of MMR vaccine. As regards the second dose, whether they are having vaccine or non-vaccine related ITP, they should get an MMR vaccine titers done. And if the patient child displays complete immunity, which is seen in around 90 to 95% of children, then no further MMR vaccine is to be given. But if the vaccine titers are less, then the child should be re-immunized with MMR vaccine at that particular recommended age. So summarizing, newly diagnosed ITP with no or mild bleeding at any platelet count should be preferred treatment as an outpatient basis and preferably observed. Newly diagnosed ITP with non-life-threatening mucosal bleeds, they should be preferably given short courses of steroids less than equal to 7 days in comparison to IVIG or anti-D. And in non-responders to first-line drugs, you should use second-line treatment in order of eltrombopag, preferable to rituximab, preferable to splenectomy. The 2011 ASH recommendations not touched upon are bone marrow examination not required to diagnose all cases, H. pylori testing not required routinely in cases of chronic ITP, and in vaccine-related ITP, a second dose of MMR to be given only if protective titers are not there. Thank you very much for a patient viewing and listening. Thanks a lot.